You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that thing. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know, ain't no more lit sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches, won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is going on, Man Hour Nation? It's your boy, Beastie, Brandon Combs, coming at you live. It is just me tonight as I lost the... There you go. There we go. Rookie. But anyway, it is just your boy tonight. Soup Boss having some technical issues with some power outages over there in Oklahoma. It is storming right now here in Chicago, too. So if I lose power, bear with me, because once it comes back on, I'll come back. But for right now, it is just me. Hopefully, somebody will come in and bail all of you out so that you guys don't just have to listen to my voice for the next 2 hours. But if you do, we've got a great show lined up for you. We're going to recap the week 7 of the NFL season. Plus, we are also going to preview the World Series tonight. Astros and Atlanta Braves. If you listened to the show about a month ago, this is the World Series you would have already known about because this is exactly how I predicted it. Actually, every series in Major League Baseball this year, I predicted the winner and the amount of games. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to stick with that. Pat myself on the back there. But before we get into everything tonight, guys, if you have not gone to manhourradio.com, if you have not gotten your new merch, like this hoodie that I'm wearing here, nice little hoodie. It's very warm, very comfortable. We got some Beastie merches available on the website. And make sure you become a member of Man Hour Nation. $5.99, $9.99. I think we have a $2.99 subscription, a 99-cent subscription. If you are a $5.99 a month member, you do get a free t-shirt after 6 months. If you're a $9.99 a month member, you get a free hoodie after 6 months. So what are you waiting for? Become a member of Man Hour Nation. If you do not want to become a member, if you do not want to put in your money to help us out, I understand. You work hard for your money. You don't have to put your money in, but it does not cost you anything to click that like button down below where you are watching right now. I don't care if you're watching on YouTube. I don't care if you're watching on Facebook. Click that like button. Help us out. Help us blow this thing up. I mean, we work hard on this damn show. I'm not going to lie. We come up with ideas. We try to do different things all the time. Drew chimes in, says, Beastie, what's going on, Drew? Love to see you here. Michelle chimes in, says, hey, Drew. Hashtag Man Hour Nation. Howdy, Michelle. How's Mrs. Beastie doing? I don't know if she's going to like that nickname. And hashtag Man Hour Nation. So, week 7 in the NFL, as a Bears fan, it was not a fun night, not a fun second half of the day for sure. Look, Tom Brady did his thing, and the Bears play calling is still atrocious. The Bears play calling is still mind-boggling. They have zero blocking on the offensive line. Justin Fields has zero time to get the ball out. And Tom Brady is still Tom Brady. So I was not shocked by the outcome. I actually picked the Bucs 31-13, I think it was. So I was a little off. The Bears did not do as much as I thought that they could do. They did not bring the run game that they've had over the last 2 weeks. They did not pass the ball well. They did not block for Justin Fields very well. It's time for It's time for Matt Nagy to go. It's time for Ryan Pace to go. It's time to clean house and and give this city and give this organization somebody who can actually lead it into the future. And it's not Ryan Pace and it's not Matt Nagy. And that's enough said there on that subject for right now. It's hard to watch as a Bears fan. It really is, because this team could be a lot better than what it is, but because of the porous play call and because of the porous, offensive line, because of the porous front office, they haven't been what they can be. So is what it is. Tom Brady throws for number 600 though. And Mike Evans promptly gives the ball to a fan. I don't know if any of you guys were watching the game. I don't know if any of you guys saw, but Tom Brady became the first and only player in NFL history to throw for 600 passing touchdowns. Guys, that is an average of 30 touchdown passes a season for 20 seasons. Put that into perspective. Understand what you are watching when you're watching Tom Brady on the field. And whether you dislike the man, which a lot of people do. I'm not a big Patriots guy. I couldn't stand the fan base when I was out in New England. But Tom Brady, when you're watching him, you're watching something great. And so whether you like him or not, you have to respect the man. You just do. And the things that he's done on the football field are astounding. It is mind-boggling. Ooh, mind-boggling. That might have been a little bit of the Jim Beam talking. I'm not gonna lie. Mind-boggling that he has been able to sustain this for so long in the National Football League. When the average career in the National Football League for a quarterback is about 12 years. Tom Brady is going on I believe it's his 21st season in the NFL. That's insane. And 600 touchdown passes. But Mike Evans gave the ball to a fan. And I don't know about you guys. If I'm that fan, there's some extortion going on to get that ball back. Yes, I know Mike Evans didn't know, and I don't know how you don't know. Like, how do you not know the situation there? How do you not go into that game knowing that your quarterback, the man who came to your franchise and led you to your Super Bowl ring, is going for history and is 2 touchdown passes away from 600? He entered the night with 598 touchdown passes. So how do you not know that heading into the game? How do you catch that touchdown pass, which was his second of the game, and go and give it to a fan? It's got to be the most. For me, it just shows no awareness for what's going on around you. And so you saw afterwards, after Evans gave the ball away, one of their teammates went up and he was trying to work a deal with the fan to get the ball back. Now, if I'm the fan that got that ball, I don't know exactly realistically. I mean, it's fun to joke around. I don't know realistically what I would ask for in return to give that ball back to Tom Brady. I'd like to think that I'd do the right thing and just say, hey, just give me a ball in return and we'll change one for another. But, I mean, I would be asking for something. A date with Giselle. I would be asking for a half year of Tom Brady's salary or maybe a half year's worth of his net income. Season tickets. Give me season tickets. I mean, give me something. You gave me the ball, and yes, I know it was a mistake for you to give me the ball, but you still gave me the ball. So there's got to be something compensated for that. If I catch a ball in baseball, say if I was there for let's go with another greatest of all time, Barry Bonds. If I was there for his record-breaking home run and I caught the ball, yes, I would be willing to give it back to him. But there'd have to be something in return. I'm not just going to give them, because there's a lot of money associated with the ball like that. We've seen where stuff like baseball cards, football cards, we've seen rookie cards that go for millions and millions of dollars. The 757 ball, when I can't remember what it went for. It went for a lot of money. It was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we've seen Babe Ruth signed balls go for millions of dollars. So balls like that have a worth assigned to them. And you have to be willing to give that back. But what's the price? There's got to be a price tag on it, right? It's got to be. I would put a price tag on it. Again, I don't know what that price tag would be. We could joke around. I heard them talking on the broadcast. They mentioned a date with Giselle. I mean, I was talking with Hoffy, the baseball lackey, during the game, who is a diehard Patriots fan, but he loves Tom Brady. And so he was giving me grief throughout the game. And he had said the same thing. He'd be like, look, I'd be, asking for season tickets plus like a bag of cash. Like there would be something associated with that. And so I'm interested to know, to all the listeners out there, what would you guys want? Hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you guys would want in return if you were given the Tom Brady 600 ball. What would you do? Would you just give it back? Would you say, yeah, just swap, one ball for another for me, and we'll call it an even trade? Would you ask for an autograph? Would you ask for money? Would you ask for something? Because remember, what you have in your possession has some monetary value. I see Drew says, I'd ask for another ball and his jersey he wore that game signed. That's a good one. That's a really good one. Because a game-worn Brady jersey autographed, I mean, that's probably about the same value as the 600 ball, especially if it's the jersey that he wore when he was throwing number 600. So that's a good one. I like that. Drew says, I know where you can get a Babe Ruth and Luke Gehrig. Oh, man. Drew. Now you're speaking to my heart, because I would love to get my hands on a baseball like that, because, God, it would be invaluable. My prized possession right now that I have, my most valuable possession, I should say, is a Barry Bonds signed baseball. And that one I have sitting up on the shelf over to my left right now. And I can see it from here. And it is displayed proudly. And that one, it has a net worth of, I think, about $1,200. So that's my most valuable possession. I think my most prized possession is probably, I got a couple of them. I got the Kyle Hendricks signed World Series ball. I've got the Ryne Sandberg autographed jersey. Ryne Sandberg, obviously my favorite player, my 6-year-old son, well, almost 6-year-old son. His name is Ryan, and he's named after Ryne Sandberg. So that's probably my most prized possession. Michelle chimes in. Michelle says, signed jersey, ball, and a picture with Gronk. Of course you would want a picture with Gronk. Gronk, if you are listening, and I know you are because you're a fan of the show, Michelle has been clamoring for anything to do. Like, I mean, I promise you, if you sent your game-worn socks, she would probably sniff them till she passed out. So if you can, I'll hit me up in the DMs. I will send you the address. You can come here. You can whisk her away, and just that way I just don't have to hear it anymore about Gronk. That's all I want. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get to my first break. When we come back, we'll talk some Week 7 football. There was a lot that went on. There were a lot of blowouts today. A lot of games I didn't see happening the way that they did. Kansas City Chiefs getting absolutely dominated in Tennessee. You had the Arizona Cardinals moving to 7-0. There was a lot of things going on in the NFL, and we will touch on them when we come back. Give me 2 minutes.
What is your name? What? What is your name? Buck. Where did you get that shirt?
It's funny that you should ask that. Head over to manhourradio.com. You can pick up the shirt up. $15.
And we are back. It's your boy Beastie Brandon Combs. Guys, so those breaks are not long enough when you are trying to do a show solo. Oh my god, I cannot talk tonight. Guys, I have to apologize. I am dead tired. I feel like I maybe have a cold coming on too, but man, I just can't talk tonight. So there was a lot that went on in the NFL today. There was a ton to talk about. I am going to go ahead and we are going to start. Let's go with the Titans. You have the Titans in Kansas City. I had said before the game, I was doing the game. I don't know if any of you saw. I know Drew was there, but we were doing a live during the game. I did the first half. And the Tennessee Titans just took it straight to the Kansas City Chiefs and just stomped on them the entire game. The Chiefs couldn't move the ball. The Titans moved the ball fluidly. I mean, I think Ryan Tannehill had 150 passing yards after the first quarter. It was insane what was going on in Tennessee, and I couldn't believe it. You were watching it live, and I just don't know what was going on. I see that comment here. I was messing up my words earlier, and Drew said I've been hanging around with Buck too long. I'm starting to develop that stutter. Hopefully I don't develop his bad, awful takes like the Lions are going to go 10-7 and win the NFC North. It's still possible though, Buck. I'll give it to you there. It's still possible. All they have to do is go 10-0 now the rest of the season. Just go undefeated, run the table. They'll be 10-7. Still won't win the North, but they'll be 10-7. No, but the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tennessee Titans, it wasn't a game, and it made me start wondering, are the Kansas City Chiefs being caught up to? Is the league figuring out who the Kansas City Chiefs are? Because I can tell you right now, that Kansas City defense that I know would not allow a guy like Ryan Tannehill to be 21 of 27 for 270 yards and a touchdown. The Kansas City offense, I know, wouldn't get shut out in the first half and only put up 3 points the entire game. That's not what this team is. And this team looks like it is pressing. It looks like they have been figured out. It looks like defenses are finding ways to stop them. They've got the blueprint now. And the Kansas City Chiefs just cannot do what they've been accustomed to doing over the last 3 seasons. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that the dynasty run is over. I'm not going to go out there and tell you that Patrick Mahomes was just a flash in the pan, or that, his time is over. He had a great 3-year stretch and now he's just going to be an average quarterback. I'm not ready to go there yet. But something needs to change for Kansas City, and something needs to change for Kansas City relatively quickly. Yes, they got the Giants this coming week. Monday Night Football, November 1st, against the New York Giants. I will not be watching that game, by the way. I'll be at the Blackhawks game, actually, so I won't be on the Man Hour that night. I won't be watching the Monday Night Football game. I will be enjoying the Blackhawks game at the United Center. So they've got the Giants on Monday Night Football, but then they get the Packers, the 5-2 Raiders, who are pretty impressive right now. I'm not going to lie. The Las Vegas Raiders leading the AFC West, by the way. First place in the AFC West after week 7. If I would have told you it was the Las Vegas Raiders, you would have told me that I was on something. But they play that game in Las Vegas a week after playing the Packers, and then they get the Cowboys. And then they get another divisional game. Granted, this team has not looked great lately, but they get the Broncos, and anything can happen in a divisional game. Those divisional opponents always play you tough. And then you get the Raiders again. Your schedule does not get much easier heading down the stretch. And right now, you are a sub 500 football team. So I don't know, as Strafer Edits comes in and says, "Where's Chad?" There was some power outages in Oklahoma, so Chad was not able to make it. Unfortunately, I wish he was, because doing these solo shows is kind of tough. And then you guys got to listen to me for 2 hours, ramble on about some stuff that is good, some stuff that won't. We got Facebook user in here. Facebook user, if you want to, in the bio, click on the link where it says allow StreamYard to use your profile. And then I can attach your name to your comments. He says KC won't make the playoffs. Ooh. He says, yes, the Chiefs were hike the ball, let Hill run, let Pat run around till he is open. Teams know Kansas City can't run, so they have to pass. Well, here's my argument to that. Teams do know that right now Kansas City is struggling to run the ball. But what you're not seeing, which is what we've come accustomed to seeing, is that Patrick Mahomes does things differently, right? So Patrick Mahomes makes plays happen with his legs, with his arms. I mean, we've all seen the no-look passes, the things that he can do. He's not doing that. I don't know if he's hurt, like Michael Buckeister had suggested. I don't know if he is just out of his game, out of his rhythm. I don't know if the rest of the league has caught up to the Kansas City Chiefs game plan. And the Kansas City Chiefs game plan has kind of been the same over the last 3 years, right? But they've executed it so flawlessly that they've just been a juggernaut. And they're not that anymore. They're just not. and teams aren't afraid of him, and teams are gaining confidence. So I'm not willing to say that they're done. I'm not willing to say that they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm not willing to say that they're still not going to come back and win this division, because let's face it, the Las Vegas Raiders have shown a tendency to start out hot and just fail. The Los Angeles Chargers, I think, might be their stiffest competition. I need to see more. I need to see where they come out of this. After this loss that they just took to the Titans, they better come out on Monday Night Football next week and put on a clinic against the Giants. And then they need to carry that over against the Packers. And then again against the Raiders. They need to get on a roll here. They need to get on some sort of win streak. And I don't know that the rest of the league hasn't caught up to them. And that's where I'm at with the Kansas City Chiefs right now. I'm not going to put my money out there to say that they are done just yet. Moving on, the Pats, New England Patriots, the team that I love to dog on their fans, the team that I love to watch suffer through grueling seasons without Tom Brady, put up 54 on the Jets today. 54 points in an NFL game. It's not done often. And they put it up on the Jets, and they've won 12 straight now against the Jets. I don't know if the Jets are ever going to be good again. I really don't. I am a big believer in Robert Saleh. I really, truly feel like this man can be a great head coach in this league. I don't know that the organization in New York has the capability to put the tools in place to create a good organization, to create a winning tradition. And before the season, I had said that the New York Jets would win some games that people wouldn't expect them to win. I had said that the New York Jets might be a better team because of Robert Saleh, because I believe he can change the losing tradition in New York, and because they went out and they drafted their guy. And they've got their quarterback for the foreseeable future anyway. They're not going to go out this year and just, start drafting new just because, on for one season, on a rough season, Zach Wilson has a tough season. And they're not going to take him out right now because he's struggling. Mike White. Yeah, you heard me right. Mike White is their backup. They've got no weapons. They've got no weapons in New York. Zach Wilson is a good NFL quarterback. And if he had weapons around him, they could change this losing tradition in New York. But they're not. As Facebook user says, easy to do when you're playing a Pee-wee team without a quarterback. They have a quarterback, though. They have a quarterback. They just don't have the weapons around that quarterback. Zach Wilson to me, and I said this on draft night, was the number one quarterback coming out of the draft. I thought he was the best talent. I thought he was the best. I thought he was the most ready to play and succeed in the NFL. I mean, a lot of people wanted to talk about it, and I said it before. I said he was going to be a bust. He has done nothing in this league to change my mind. Trevor Lawrence was not the number one quarterback in that draft. Trevor Lawrence was the fifth best quarterback in that draft. Trevor Lawrence was a prototype bust. And He's done nothing to prove that otherwise. Now, I'll give him the same excuse I give Zach Wilson. He's got no weapons behind him. But I watched the decision making. I watched the things that he's doing now that he's not playing for Clemson. Now that he can't control his schedule and play teams like Southern Miss and the Perkins School for the Blind every week, which they like to do when you're a top school in NCAA. Play one tough team and then play the rest of scrubs, and we'll get you into the playoffs and make some money. Now that he can't do that, Trevor Lawrence is showing that, look, he doesn't make the right decisions all the time. He doesn't make the correct pass all the time. He doesn't know when to take off and when to sit in the pocket. He's not the pedigree that everybody was building him up to be at Clemson. So for me, with Zach Wilson, he makes the right passes. He makes the right choices. He's doing the right reads. He's checking down. He's taking off when he needs to take off. He's throwing the ball when he needs to throw the ball. He's getting rid of the ball. He's got no help. And until the New York Jets decide, hey, look, we are tired of being a losing franchise, this franchise is doomed. So I don't know if the New York Jets are ever going to be good again. Kudos to Pats fans. Pats fans are going to love their team again for another week until they come out next week and get beat again. And then they're going to be down on them again. But this New York Jets franchise needs to wake up and realize that they have something in their head coach, Robert Saleh. They have something in their quarterback, Zach Wilson. And they need to get them the weapons to be able to take care of this. As I glance past my camera, I see the Sunday Night Football game in the background. It is pouring in San Francisco. This is going to be a sloppy game. San Francisco is up 6-0 in the first quarter. Let's talk about the Bengals. So, the Bengals. Who saw this coming? I didn't see this coming. The Cincinnati Bengals are for real, man. The Cincinnati Bengals can do things that I didn't think that they could do. The way they handled Baltimore today in Baltimore proved to me that they are for real. They've got 2 losses this year, both to the NFC North, both by only 3 points. They are a 5-2 team. They lost to the Packers 25-22, and they lost in Chicago in week 2, 20-17. They've beaten the Vikings, the Steelers, the Jaguars, the Lions, and now the Ravens. They've got the Jets next week. We just talked about these Jets. Then they get the Browns, and then the Raiders. The Bengals are going to the playoffs, people. The Bengals are a playoff team. Joe Burrows, if he doesn't get hurt last year, he might have been good enough to take them to the playoffs last year. I am completely convinced with what the Cincinnati Bengals are doing. Now, granted, over the last couple of years, they've spent a lot of money on their defense, and it's showing in what they're doing now. The way they were able to shut down the Baltimore Ravens, and I know Michael Buckeister will come out and say, "Oh, it's not a surprise, Lamar's trash, and he's showing that he's not a good quarterback." We're not going to go there with the nonsense. There's no nonsense. Buck's not on the show tonight. The Baltimore Ravens were a 5-1 football team heading into this game. They were at home. The Bengals are just that good. They're for real. They are going to shut people down. And they are going to go to the playoffs. They might even win this division. They might be the best team in the AFC North. And I don't know anybody that would have said that before the season. Facebook user says me. I believe this is Kyle. I believe he said it earlier in the chat. I'd have to go back up and look, but it says me. If you believed that the Bengals were capable of winning their division prior to the season, kudos to you. But by all means, because look, we take credit where credit is due when we talk about things. Look, I was a big fan of the Arizona Cardinals way before they were 7-0. And I jumped on and I told everybody, look, the Arizona Cardinals are going to be very, very good. And they're now 7-0. And I've also,
And a
you know,
terrible
talked
7-0.
Oh my God. Oh God, he's here.
Yep.
I just told the people that we weren't going to deal with nonsense. And now Buck's on the show.
Yep.
So, Buck,
Who says we will beat Arizona on Thursday? Facebook user, get out of here with that.
who's going to beat Arizona on Thursday?
Who's that Thursday night game? Is it Seattle?
It's
Arizona.
No, it's Arizona and Cincinnati, I believe.
Oh, have you guys seen Cincinnati whoop that Ravens ass today? Cincinnati's on a
That's
mission
what we
from
were
God.
just talking about, Buck. We were talking about Cincinnati being the real deal.
Yeah.
And it's not that Baltimore isn't a good team. They were 5-1 coming into this game. They're at home.
Yeah, overrated.
Oh, stop it. And now they come in and I mean, look, Cincinnati. They've spent a lot of money on that defense. A lot of money on that defense, and it shows. I mean, they're starting to actually finally show up and play the defense that we thought. Like, I didn't think. Look, I thought Cincinnati was going to be better this year than they have been. I mean, I believe I had them at 9 wins this season. Double checking right now. I had them at 8 wins this season. I had them at 8 and 9. Third in the division. They might be the best team in this division.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I mean, they're definitely the best division or the best team in that division because look at the rest of the division. The Browns are injury prone, but they have like 9 offensive starters out or that have been out. The Ravens are a much overrated team. Lamar Jackson is complete trash, and he showed that all day today. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are the best worst team out there because that defense it's a championship caliber defense, but Big Ben has shown that he cannot throw a wet duck into a pond.
Yeah, look, that the Browns are kind of reverting back into that team where we don't know what's going to show up every week, right?
Which is tough because they were on a great track the first 3 weeks of the season, and then Landry Jones got hurt, and then Nick Chubb got hurt, and now Kareem Hunt's on IR. Their offensive line is going down. Odell Beckham Jr. hurt his shoulder again. Baker Mayfield's probably going to be out for the rest of the season with a broken shoulder blade or something to that effect. So, I mean, it's time for Case Keenum to step up and be, I guess, who we thought Case Keenum was. 10 years, like 7 teams or something like that. I mean, come on.
Javier chimes in the chat, says, Drew, I don't worry. I'm happy Miami lost. Watson is coming. Javier, happy birthday, brother.
Yeah, happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, Javier. You're probably pretty drunk since you still think Watson's coming to Miami. But happy birthday. We hope you have a great day, a great evening. Hope it was everything that it should be for you. So just happy birthday from the Man Hour crew. And look,
well,
the
trade deadline is November
Miami?
to the 2nd. Still has 9 days.
Do you think Watson goes to Miami?
So when I talked to Soup Boss on Wednesday with Spilled Soup, he mentioned a 3-team trade. It was the Washington football team, Houston, and Miami. First of all, I have never heard of a 3-team trade in the NFL that has successfully happened in recent memory. Secondly, if Watson were to come to Miami this year, it could be a complete waste of time because he hasn't probably thrown a football in 9 months. Let's just be flat out honest. He probably looks like James Harden right now, like 5'10", 200 pounds, or like 300 pounds, probably that little chodish, right? But if Watson does to come Miami fans will be like, "Oh, our savior's here." He won't play it down, I bet you, because he will not know that playbook well enough to be able to execute or give you guys a win. Does he come to Miami? No, not before the trade deadline, which is what 9 days away. November 2nd is a trade deadline. He does not come to Miami by then.
So, first things first on the 3-team trade, and I did hear those rumors. Wouldn't it be the most Houston thing ever to trade Deshaun Watson and to let somebody else get Tua because you traded Deshaun Watson?
Well,
Like-
the rumor was Tua to Washington and then Henneke to Houston.
Right.
Would you take Henneke over Mills right now? I don't think so. I mean, yes, Henneke threw for like 376 yards a day, ran for like another
I
100,
would
had like
take
4
Henneke.
touchdowns.
I would take Henneke over Mills in a heartbeat.
Would you though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. But I would take Tua over Henneke though. And I think if you're giving up a talent like Deshaun Watson, you have to get somebody at least with the ceiling of a Tua. And I know, look, the guy has to prove he can stay healthy first. But I think Tua has a higher ceiling than Henneke for sure.
I think Tua has already reached his ceiling. He has been proven that he will be a bust in this league.
I mean, I said that when he got drafted. I said drafted him at 5, especially with that hip injury. It was a stupid move by the Miami Dolphins. I don't know why they even drafted Tua at 5 there. I would have passed on them. But they did what they did, and this is the position that they're in. They're what, 1-5 now, 1-6?
Who?
The Dolphins.
Yeah, they are. They did lose today, right, to the Giants.
Yeah, so they're 1-6 then.
Yeah, so that puts them at 1-6.
So even if they get Deshaun Watson, even if they went out and got Tom Brady, they're not a playoff team this year.
They still got a chance. I mean, they're still what? 10
You're not
games
coming
left
back
in the
from
season.
one. You're not coming back from 1-6. Come on, it's like you with your Lions. You're just hanging on. They're 0-7 now. You told them they were going to be 10-7, so now they just got to go 10-0.
Did you not listen to the Man Hour 2 weeks ago? I do. I murder the Lions. I wish curse on them. I hope they don't get 5 wins for the rest of their lifetime. Sheesh.
That's you keep putting the hex on them. What do you want to do?
Yeah. Sheesh. I guess the hex went over to Kansas City, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So one last game I'll get to before we get to another break here. The Giants just absolutely shut down Carolina. And Carolina just can't seem to stay consistent. I really like from week to week. They're kind of like the Cleveland Browns, right? Because from week to week, I'm like, wow, Carolina looks really good. Sam Darnold looks really good. And then the next week shows up and they put up 3 points on the New York Giants.
They scored 22. It was what, 33 to 22, right?
No.
Was that the final score?
No, I don't. I could have sworn they got. I'm gonna check the score right now.
I mean, I saw it was like 5-3 for like 3 quarters or something. But
yeah, no, it was. I believe they only put up 3 points, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm gonna double check right now. Yeah, they lost 25-3.
Okay.
They took the 3-0 lead in the first quarter. It didn't score another point. Got outscored 25-0 after that.
Jeez.
That's just not like that's not what we, what we've seen from week to week out of the Carolina Panthers is just that it is just that it's a week to week thing. You don't know which team is going to show up. Daniel Jones outperformed Sam Darnold by a wide margin. Sam Darnold was 16-25 for 111 yards. So, I mean, I think that the Carolina Panthers are just going to be that team that is. So they were 3-0 too, right? They were just like the Broncos. They were 3-0 with the Broncos, and now they're both 3-4.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
the one
Liz.
thing about the Carolina Panthers is that they've been riddled with injuries too. I mean, once CMC has gone down, I believe he's on IR now. He's out to what, week 9 or week 10, and it shows you how much they relied on Christian McCaffrey on that offense. Yes, Sam Darnold was doing great. You know why he was doing great? Because he had that safety net of Christian McCaffrey, knowing that he could mess up, miss the ball down the field, and I could hand it to Christian McCaffrey for the next play and gain 12 yards. So when you have a talent like Christian McCaffrey in the backfield healthy, it makes your job that much easier. And when you're having fun and your job's easy, you look pretty damn good. You look like a top 10 quarterback, which you and Soup Boss and Tori, you guys were all jumping on the Sam Darnold train. Hey, it was just a Jets curse.
I was on the Sam Darnold train when he was in New York, though, to be fair.
Well, but now we're kind of seeing like, hey, maybe it wasn't the Jets curse. Maybe Christian McCaffrey was just making him look that good. And maybe the Carolina Panthers are still a bad team. I mean, adding a quarterback is not going to change your team overnight unless you're Tom Brady and he brings like his crew in, right?
Not having CMC is a huge deal. I mean, CMC opens up a lot. We talked about it earlier on the live broadcast when we were talking about the Titans. The things that Derrick Henry opens up to make Ryan Tannehill look good. The things that, as Buck left me here, the things that, so the way they use Derrick Henry opens up things in the passing game, and it opens up things for Ryan Tannehill to look better than what he really is. And Ryan Tannehill, we saw what he was in Miami, and now we see what he is in Tennessee, and it's just a different quarterback. And most of that has to do with Derrick Henry. You're talking about a team that when they are down in the third and fourth quarter, they run more than they pass. And that's the exact opposite of everything that goes on in the NFL, because any team that is down in the third and fourth quarter is passing the ball. But the Tennessee Titans are running the ball. And it's the same thing with Carolina. When CMC is there, when they were 3-0 and then he went down, he opens stuff up for Sam Darnold. He opens up that offense. He makes it so that they have to focus on where CMC is at. They have to stack the box. They have to stop the run. They have to stop the screen passes. Then that opens them up downfield. And when there's no CMC, much like if King Henry were to go down in Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill would look like a much worse quarterback than what he looks right now.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side of that, I mean, you're referring to Ryan Tannehill. He had a great game today, right? But Christian McCaffrey adds that extra receiver onto the field. King Henry doesn't do that. King Henry just puts.
Well, they run a lot of screen passes to King Henry, and then they put him in the wildcat formation, and he throws for a touchdown on Kansas City.
I'm not referring to the screen pass. I'm talking like actual routes. So he's out there running like slot receiver routes and that kind of thing. So that alone adds a different dynamic to a team that many teams don't have. And Christian McCaffrey is a type of player that you could put him on any other team healthy, and he instantly gives you 3 more wins on this season, much like Derrick Henry can. So he's a very special talent, and it sucks that he went down because the Carolina Panthers were looking like a great team. Now they look like the Carolina Panthers that we have all kind of expected this year, 4-13.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back from break, we're going to get us some shop talk. So, guys, let us know what you guys want to talk about. I'm going to go through some of the comments, and we got some other stuff on the plate as well. We're going to get into some baseball breakdown. We got the World Series coming up, the Astros and the Braves. It'll be like I'm doing a solo show again because we're talking baseball, and Buck knows as much about baseball as I do about thumb wrestling. So we'll go. Just kidding, Buck. I love you.
That's all good, man.
We will be right back. we are back. Guys, if you have not gone to manhourradio.com, checked out the merch. We got some hot merch out there. The Beastie merch is up. We've got some phone cases. I got my phone case in this weekend.
Yeah, I got mine too.
Pretty damn sharp.
Yeah.
Got the phone cases are out there. We got the Beastie merch. We got some joggers out there. We got some hoodies. I'm wearing one of the Man Hour hoodies. These things are so damn comfortable, these new ones. But guys, it costs nothing to hit the like button. So wherever you're at right now, you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, hit that like button. Help us out. All right, Buck. I had
Sharing is caring.
sharing is caring. I had teased some shop talk, but I was wrong. It's actually time for Way or No Way. Are you ready to play some Way or No Way, Buck?
I'm always ready for Way or No Way. My favorite time of day.
Let's let Trip answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's let Trip do the talking for you this time because
he heard his name. He's like, what?
What's up, Trip? What's going on, buddy?
He's not happy right now.
Oh, he's mad at Daddy.
He's supposed to be in bed.
Yeah. All right.
Like, football's on, Dad. Football's on.
Yeah. See, there's nothing wrong with that. Let the kids stay up and watch some football.
Yeah.
All right. So I opened up the show talking about Tom Brady and the Bucs and talking about what they did to the Bears and how bad the play calling was for the Bears again. So I ask you this, Way or No Way? The Bears fire Matt Nagy tomorrow.
Combs, absolutely no way, because I've been listening to you for the last year and a half when like we've been doing shows together, because from the Man Hour after show to the Man Hour to like our show now, right? Bears don't fire anybody during the regular season, and as far as I know, it's carry the two. Yeah, it's still the regular season, Combs. It's only week 8. Pump the brakes. You guys are second in the division, right? You guys still have a chance to possibly make a playoff berth. I mean, I did see some pretty bad play calling. Granted, tell him Trip. But Justin Fields did also have 3 overthrows that resulted in interceptions too. Which
no, stop. He had 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles. All 3 fumbles were on blindside hits because he had no protections.
Right.
One of his interceptions, he hit the damn receiver right in the hands, and it popped out of his hands and into the defender's hands.
Right. But still, where does the interception blame? It's blamed on the quarterback.
It goes on Justin Fields, but that's not on Justin. It's 110% on the play calling. They're able to read everything that you're doing.
So the play calling has resulted to an interception that bounced off the dude's helmet into the other guy's hands. Come on now. You're just ridiculous.
That's why the players are around. It's not a Matt Nagy hit. I said after week 1 that if they were under 500 by week 8, Matt Nagy would be fired.
Okay. Well, it's going into week 8 now. Yeah.
I know. I'm going to stick to it. And they're under 500. They're 3-4 now.
So that game was at home, right? No. They're at Tampa. So they'll probably get home, 9, 10 o'clock tonight?
Yep.
So do you think he has a pink slip waiting for him when he gets into his office?
I mean, if it were me, I would have a pink slip waiting for him last season. I would do it. I would pull the trigger. It's clear and convincing that he is not the guy that's going to develop Justin Fields. And I'm not saying you're going to bring in the guy in the interim that is going to be able to develop Justin Fields.
Right.
But maybe you could bring in a guy in the interim who can at least do a better job of allowing Justin Fields to succeed.
What do you want him to do? Run RPO every play?
No, you don't have to run RPO every play, but you do have to have consistency in your play calling that accounts for the atrocious offensive line. You have to have consistency in your play calling that allows for you to play to your strengths, which is the run game, which is the short passes, which is the RPO, which is the call for him to, it doesn't even have to be an RPO. It could be just him rolling out of the pocket. They don't call plays for him to run out of the pocket. It's clear to me that Matt Nagy has taken over the play calling again in today's game because
Oh,
all it
come on,
was
Colm.
6 to 7 step drops. They weren't rolling him out again, which they had over the last 2 weeks when he was successful.
So
He kept them in that game against Green Bay last week because they were rolling him out of the pocket.
I tuned into about 3 or 4 minutes left in the first half. I believe it was already 21-0, 21-3, maybe. And they brought in double tights and they rolled them out and they did a short passing, right? Justin Fields overthrew the receiver by 10 yards and it fell right into the Tampa Bay receiver's hands. What do you want them to do? Like, he is throwing the ball bad right now. Like, he doesn't have confidence in himself.
No, because every play that they call that's a passing play, he's got 4 guys in his face in the matter of a second and a half. They've got no blocking on the offensive line.
Yeah. Well, no way he's getting fired, though. It's the Bears.
I disagree.
Okay, we'll see. See how wrong you are.
Oh, God. All right. So moving on. The next way or no way I got for you. The Detroit Lions. Your Detroit Lions. You can't give them away now.
Okay.
You can't give them away now. The
I'll put
Detroit
him on the back
Lions.
burner.
The Detroit Lions will not win a game this season.
Oh, we already talked about this, and the answer is no way. I don't have their schedule in front of me right now, but they're still a good team. They went toe-to-toe with the Ravens just a few weeks ago. I see Isaac Hatfield there in a shout, and like in a chat. Shout out to him. They should have beat the Ravens, right? And then the following week, what they played the Chargers, was it? I can't remember.
No, they played the Bears the following week
Oh,
and
yeah,
lost 24-14.
Well, but they lost either the game after that or the previous game to a last second field goal as well. I can't
The Vikings
remember
the following week,
There you
19-17. Yep.
Yeah, but they have a couple favorable games coming forward, especially toward the end of the season, and they do play the Packers the last week of the season. Packers will probably already have that division wrapped up like at that point, and we'll see Jordan Love and see how complete of a dumpster fire he actually is. So they will at least win 2 games this year. They will not go 0-17.
So if they're going to win a game this season, it's either going to come next week against the Eagles or it's going to come in week 16 against the Falcons. Other than that, they're not winning a game this season. They've got the Steelers, Browns, Bears, Vikings, Broncos, Cardinals, Falcons, Seahawks, and Packers. They're not better than any of those teams. They're not even better than the Eagles. But the Eagles are at least a winnable game because it's in Detroit.
Right.
So if they win a game, it's going to be a game that nobody's going to pick them because you should never pick the Detroit Lions to win. Right, Buck?
Right. The last 2 seasons, I picked them to go at least 9 wins, and they haven't gotten 9 wins the last 3 seasons combined.
Yeah. So we'll give you a break on the Detroit Lions. The last way or no way I got here. The Arizona Cardinals, the 7-0 Arizona Cardinals.
Okay.
Way or no way, they are the team to beat.
Well, I mean,
obviously NFC.
Obviously they are the team to beat because they're undefeated, right? So you always want to be that team to knock off the undefeated team, right? But if they are the team to beat, like as in the best team, no, they're not the best team. You still have the Packers, you still have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that destroyed your Chicago Bears today, and they're getting better as the season goes on.
They don't play the Buccaneers.
No, but I'm saying like those are the teams to beat that are better. And then you had the Dallas Cowboys that we're forgetting because it's a bye week for them, but they're probably better than Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's just be honest here. So they are the team to beat if you want to beat off the undefeated team, yes, but they're not the best team in the NFC. No way.
I don't understand how you can say they're not the best team in the NFC. Name me who's the best team in the NFC, Buck.
I just told you. I gave you 3 teams better than them: the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Buccaneers. The best team, okay. By default, so I got to give you the Buccaneers.
They play the Packers on Thursday night.
Yeah, and they'll lose.
Okay. This game's in Arizona. It's going to be a good game.
Lambeau West, as Tori says, right?
But if they beat the Packers, would you be willing to admit that they might be the best team in the NFC?
I would give them second best team in the NFC, yes.
Oh my God. So they play the Cowboys week 17.
Yeah,
If
that's
they
a win.
beat the Cowboys week 17, and they have maybe 1 or 2 losses because they do play in a really tough division. They might lose to the Rams. They might lose to the Niners. Then do you think they're the best team in the NFC? Because then they've beaten 2 of the 3 teams that you've said are better than them.
So the issue of that week 17 game is like, I don't think they'll only have 2 losses at that point. They will probably be, probably 6 or 7 losses, and they'll probably have to
6 or
win.
7 losses, Buck?
Yeah, 6 or 7 losses. They are going to get exploited on Thursday versus the Packers.
Buck.
And once you start losing that one game and the blueprint's out there, everybody starts to mock it. So that week 17 game is going to be a must win for them, but the Dallas Cowboys will probably already have this 2 or 3 seed locked up. So I mean, they will beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys aren't going to be playing anybody like at that point.
Buck, there is a reason why you are at the bottom of our group in our picks.
I also didn't pick this week. I totally forgot.
Yeah, neither did Tori. I'm the only one who picked this week. But there's a reason that before that you were at the bottom.
No, Tori was. I was second.
No, because neither you nor Tori picked this week, and he's still in second. So he was second before that.
Okay.
But anyway, there's a reason for that, Buck. And that's because you think with your heart. For whatever reason, you don't want the Arizona Cardinals to be good. So you don't want them to win.
You're 100% right. I am still mad at them for cutting Josh Rosen after year 1 and firing a first-year coach to get Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury, and I put the hex on him ever since then. I wish them nothing but ill will.
So
I'm like a woman. I hold a grudge.
I think that blinds you when it comes to making your picks. You really wanted the Detroit Lions to be good because your dad is from Detroit, and you want them to be good for your dad, who was a big fan of Barry Sanders and all that. So you pick them to be 10-7.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the world had them better than 3 wins, but Buck had them at 10-7 and winning the NFC North.
There's still a chance, right? There's still
I've sat here, and I told you week after week, ever since they signed J.J. Watt, that the Arizona Cardinals are the best team in the NFC. I picked them to be 15-2 this year.
Right.
I said that their defense was going to be phenomenal. Their offense was going to score at a very high rate, and they've done that. They've averaged 33 points a game in the first 7 weeks. Their defense, minus the one game against the Minnesota Vikings in week 2, which they allowed 33 points, has not allowed more than 20 points in a game. And that includes a game against the Rams in LA. That includes a game against the 49ers. That includes a game in Cleveland against the Browns, which is a very tough place to go in and play. That includes a game against the Titans in Tennessee. What do they have to do to show you that they are the real deal?
Make the playoffs.
They've beaten all the top teams. They're shutting them down. They're not allowing them to score, and they're scoring at a phenomenal rate on these teams.
I mean, I see what you're saying, and though the Cardinals just match up really, really good against those teams that they played. I mean, obviously the Titans were just not very good when they played. I believe the Titans were 0-2. Like,
it was week 1, Buck.
Right?
They were 0-0.
But they started the season 0-2, right? And then the Rams just forgot to show up, and the Vikings, a not very, very good team, exploited them a little bit. So,
how did they exploit them in week 2 when ever since then nobody's put up more than 20 points?
Because every dog has their day, right?
How exactly did they exploit them? Because when you exploit somebody, that means everybody else finds their weaknesses. So the Minnesota Vikings knew their weakness, but nobody else has watched that game film since week 2.
The Vikings just matched up better against them than the rest of the teams. That's all.
No, I think that week Arizona played down to their competition.
Could be.
And there is
not what good teams do, right?
There is not a team in this league right now, and that includes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that wants to see the Arizona Cardinals. There is not a team, including the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, including the Green Bay Packers. Yes, Kyle, you heard me right. Yes, Javier, you heard me right. I see you in the comments saying Tampa's the best. Green Bay's the second best team in the NFC. The Arizona Cardinals are the best team in the NFC. They are scoring 33 points a game. They are not allowing their opponents to get in the end zone. And they are beating really, really good teams. They're not just beating bottom of the barrel teams. They're beating the Los Angeles Rams. They're beating the San Francisco 49ers. They're beating the Cleveland Browns. They're beating the Tennessee Titans. They're beating really good teams. And they're destroying really good teams. This team is for real. DeAndre Hopkins is for real. Kyler Murray is for real. And this defense is going to finish this season as a top 5 defense of all time.
Really?
Yes, 100%.
Okay. Only time will tell. I mean, we'll definitely see how good they are come Thursday when they battle the Green Bay Packers.
We will. We will. And look, Thursday night football games are it's hard. It's a short week. It's a short week. Sometimes you don't always get good games. This could be one of those light them up and shoot them out because look, the Green Bay Packers can score with anybody in the league, and that includes the Arizona Cardinals. To me, the key to this game is the Arizona defense. Because I already know that the Green Bay defense is going to allow points. I already know that the Green Bay defense is going to allow the Arizona Cardinals offense to eat.
Well, hang on. The Packers have added 2 key pieces to their defense in the last week or so. They added Jalen Smith, a linebacker from the Dallas Cowboys, and then they added that defensive lineman from the Patriots, right?
Yep.
Marcellus or something. So, I mean, that could be just the pieces that they needed to maybe hamper and tighten that screw in a little bit on the defense.
The Green Bay Packers defense is not as good as the Arizona Cardinals defense.
You're right there, 100%.
But their offense is every bit as good as the Arizona offense. That's why, for me, the key is going to be the Arizona defense. Can they find a way to get to Aaron Rodgers? Can they find a way to shut them down? I think that they can. I think they've got all the tools to beat a team like that. And I like Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers is a top 3 quarterback of all time. Look, as a Bears fan, I admit that Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's fun to watch. The guy just knows how to win. I don't know who I'm going to pick in this game yet. I really don't. And I like the Arizona Cardinals. I think the Arizona Cardinals are the team to beat in the NFC.
It would not surprise me.
They're going to be the team to beat for a long time.
It would not surprise me on Thursday if it's a defensive of slugfest, like a 7-6 type of score. I mean, that would not surprise me one bit.
Yeah, I mean it'll be fun to watch. Short week, so anything can happen. But we're gonna get to another break, and when we come back, we are going to get to some shop talk. What's going on, Trip? Trip's gonna lead the show. He is going to get to his shop talk, and we will be right back. and we are back as Carson Wentz just got completely lucky in this game here on Sunday Night Football. There's a reason why defensive players are defensive players. They can't catch the damn ball. Plain and simple. Right, Buck?
No, I didn't catch that. We were painting the house.
I said defensive players are defensive players because they can't catch the ball.
9 times out of 10, yes. There's usually why wide receivers get moved to the cornerback because they can't catch the ball, right?
I mean, Carson Wentz just put one. I don't even know which defender it was for San Francisco, right in his chest, man. And like, he didn't close his arms until 3 seconds after the ball hit the ground. Like it was, and then he was surprised he didn't catch it.
Yeah, oh man. Well,
Yeah,
I'm a huge fan of every time when like somebody drops the ball, like they look at their hands like their hands did it. Like
yeah, yeah.
I can literally put those. I can put those NFL gloves on my sons, and they could probably catch 9 times out of their balls. Like
Yeah.
9 10. Like that's how sticky those gloves are.
And they look at their hands, they're like, "Damn you, icicles! Why do I have to have icicles for hands?"
Yeah, just ridiculous. Get out of here with that. Oh man.
All right, guys. So it is time for Shop Talk. Anything you guys want to talk about, hit us up in the comments. We will definitely bring it up. Buck, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was, did you watch any of that Green Bay Packers Washington football team game?
I did. I was flipping it back and forth between that and the Cincinnati game.
The officiating, again, in that Green Bay's Packers game was atrocious. And look, I didn't have a dog in the fight. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, yeah, well, you're a Bears fan. You're always going to. The officiating in that game was atrocious. Not only the fumble that they didn't overturn, that the guy recovered, that was horrible. They had the other one where Henneke ran the ball into the end zone. He dove forward. Anytime, I've always been told when a quarterback dives forward, you could hit him because he's diving forward. He's trying to make a football play. He's not sliding.
A live player. Yep, live player.
He dove forward, never got touched, and cleared into the end zone. What happens as soon as the ball touches the goal line? It's a touchdown, correct?
Yep.
So they said because his knee was down early, he was giving himself up. No, he wasn't. He was diving into the end zone. He's a quarterback, and he's not very athletic.
Well,
but so they're taking points off the board. The very next play, he goes to try to dive into the end zone. The ball gets taken away from him. He grabs it back, puts it over the line. They don't give him that one either. Like, I don't get it. What is it with the Packers?
I think when you do dive forward, you are, quote, giving yourself up, but you can still take a hit, right? So if he was diving forward and his knee did touch and the ball didn't cross the plane, in theory, they were correct on that because he was, in a sense, giving himself up, just not correctly, if that makes sense. So, I mean, and then to get the ball ripped out of your hands when you're trying to reach for the end zone, hit the weight room, man. Stop being a baby.
Well, but then he got the ball. Then he got the ball back and reached back over the goal line with it. Like it was clear to me that he was in twice, and they took both of them back from him. But then the fumble recovery. Like, how does that not get overturned?
I didn't see the fumble, but being like officiating in general, like we harp on this a lot because you, as a Bears fan, you always think the officials always screw you a little bit, but they have definitely been not very good lately. It is like they're swallowing like they're afraid to blow the whistle because they know they're going to review the play anyways. So like I did hear, I believe it was the CBS Sportscast, where like they were saying like they are teaching the officials to let the play out so they can go back and review it and get it correct. So because there are certain plays, if you blow it dead, you cannot review that play.
And see, now the problem I have with that is the same problem I have with like coaching 8th grade girls basketball, right? Because the refs here, and there's not a game that goes by where I'm not yelling at a ref when I'm coaching basketball, because these guys are just they go down the court one play one time and they don't call something that should be called, and the girl will travel 3 or 4 times, and then the next time down the court she sets a moving pick and they blow the whistle for that. If you're not going to blow the whistle for a travel, something as very teachable as traveling, why are you blowing it for something that is, a very complex, where the girls don't understand that you can't move when you're setting a pick at this level yet?
Do we even know
Now,
what traveling is? We've been watching the NBA, haven't we?
yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry.
And
Too soon.
not only that, but in the NFL, it's the same thing. It's like they're picking and choosing when to throw the flags.
Right.
And that's a problem. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. The other thing is you've got plays that they're throwing flags on, and this happened in the Packers game too, which allowed the Packers to extend a drive, where the other side of the field, the ball's thrown to the right side. On the left side, on the hash marks, a guy gets interfered with and gets picked. It had nothing to do with the play. Why aren't we throwing a flag?
A penalty's a penalty, Combs.
Okay. So if a penalty is a penalty, then you should be calling everything, not picking and choosing
I do
when
agree
you're
with that.
making the call.
Now,
and that's the problem that the NFL has right now. They're picking and choosing when to make a call. They're taking points away from teams that have a chance to win games, and that's a problem.
I see what you're saying, but let's go to that pass interference call per se. You are in the NFL where quarterbacks do look left to right, right to left. So the referee on that side does not know that the quarterback is looking on the other side of the field. They're taught to watch a zone on a field, not watch the play, right? So if he sees a pass interference call, he needs to throw the flag because he's taught to watch the zone, not the play.
So when a receiver is running his route and crossing the field,
right,
and the other receiver is running, so they're running what do they call that? The pattern where they cross there. Yeah.
Cross. Yeah.
And the defender runs into the other receiver. Not like the guy didn't alter his route to get in the guy's way or anything. Why is that considered a pick?
Because
you establish your route as a receiver. You establish your lane.
Right. So in theory, technically, every time a crossing route happens and a receiver makes contact with a defender, that could be classified as picking 100% of the time. Many people choose not to call that just because it is an offensive league and they're going to call probably defensive holding or illegal hands or something to that effect. It's a defensive penalty 9 times out of 10, even though the routes are set up to cause a pick. So that is when the disruption comes into play there. So what does the ref see from the backside, right? Does he see the receiver pushing the guy out of the way, or does he see the defender pulling on the jersey?
Yeah. For me, it's just a matter of not picking and choosing your calls. Not costing teams points makes you a better referee. And as I'm watching right now, like, I don't know what they're about to call. Brandon Ayuk just went to go catch a kickoff. It went off of him and then went into the end zone. He recovered it in the end zone and got tackled. Is that a touchback or is that a safety?
Should be a safety.
I agree.
Yeah.
But they just called it a touchback.
I didn't see the play, so maybe they are saying that it maybe did not touch him.
No, it definitely touched him. It went off his hands and his foot. That's how it ended up going that far back. Otherwise, the ball would have stayed out of the end zone.
So I'm not for sure what the muff punt rule is, but that could be classified as a muff punt. And if a muff punt is recovered, it is down to where the ball was touched at, was muffed. So
okay. So Javier says, "I love this show, even if I'm losing money."
Did you bet on the Dolphins again today? Speaking of losing money,
Man.
Combs, did you see that Patriots game today?
I did.
I was not expecting them to score 54 points today.
No, me neither. Probably should have seen it coming though. I mean, they own the Jets. I mean, we talk about Aaron Rodgers owning the Chicago Bears. Bill Belichick owns the Jets.
Yeah.
And they've won now 12 straight games against the Jets. And the Jets haven't been close in any of those games. I mean, it's been ugly for the Jets when they played New England. I did not expect them to do that. I like Mac Jones. I really do. I think that he is in the perfect situation up in New England. I think they have a quarterback that they can build on. I think it's going to be a couple years before they're back to that level, though, of being the New England Patriots that we've known with Tom Brady over the last 20 years.
I don't think they'll ever get back to that level.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough, for sure.
I don't think any team in the NFL could ever repeat what they did there.
I guess we'll find out. I don't think anybody will ever get to the level where you're winning 6 Super Bowls in 9 years.
Right.
Or 9 tries, I should say. That's a lot of Super Bowls. And
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I know we talked about Patrick Mahomes maybe being there with the Chiefs since he's been to 2 in 3 years, and even, he almost have been to 3 straight if it wasn't for a toe.
A toe. He was 5 yards offsides.
Yeah, it was a toe.
Are we talking about D. Ford here?
Yeah.
Combs, he was lined up parallel with Tom Brady, and Tom Brady was in 5-yard shotgun.
All right. But we've talked a lot of football.
I'm still bitter about that.
The World Series is starting. And guys, for those of you that are here on the show listening right now, the World Series starts on Tuesday. It's the Astros versus the Braves. You can catch myself and Soup Boss on Tuesday night watching the game, doing a live feed with live raw reaction of the game. Trust me, it's going to be a lot better than listening to Joe Buck call this game. You're going to want to be tuned into the Man Hour during the World Series. Turn the volume on the TV down and turn the volume on your computer up and listen to Combs and Soup Boss call this game. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to talk.
We still be doing a live show too, guys, so you can watch both at the same time.
We're going to talk some baseball here in a minute. We're going to preview the World Series. We're going to make our picks. We are going to talk about who the MVPs are going to be. Buck is going to spout out some nonsense that we're going to refute, and we'll find out quickly how much he knows. We'll be right back.
Little.
All right, guys, we are back. The World Series stage is set. The Houston Astros versus the Atlanta Braves. If you're listening to the show about a month ago, you would have already known this was going to happen because I told you it was going to happen. I've picked every series. I picked the winner from each series. I've picked the amount of games it was supposed to be. I've been pretty accurate during these playoffs. I'm pretty kind of proud of my predictions. I was actually just looking at they've got the little fantasy game on ESPN, the little playoff baseball classic. Right now, I am ranked 133rd out of 242,000 people.
Hell yeah.
99.8%
Pump
are
that
my
chest,
picks.
baby. Pump that chest.
So I promise you, I know a little bit about what I'm talking about when it comes to baseball. And I picked preseason, I picked the Braves to win the World Series. I picked them to beat the Los Angeles Angels in the World Series. So that one didn't really come to fruition. Prior to the playoffs, though, I did pick the Houston Astros versus the Atlanta Braves. And I picked the Atlanta Braves to win that series in 7. And I'm going to stick with that. I think that the Atlanta Braves pitching staff is better than the Houston Astros pitching staff. I think that their lineups are dead even. I think that you could take either one of these lineups and split them down the middle, and you're going to have the same team. And so I don't feel like either team has an edge there. I'm really upset, and it saddens me that Ronald Acuna is hurt and not going to be in this World Series, because baseball is missing out on a huge opportunity to see one of its biggest stars on its biggest stage. So I think had Acuna been in, I would have picked the Braves probably in 5 or 6 here, because I think he makes that big of a difference. But I'm gonna stick with the Braves in 7. Buck, who you got?
You know, as I watch rain come pouring down here, I like the Houston Astros. Like that they just seem to be like on the proving train, right? They're like, yeah, we are here because we
Yeah.
cheated a couple years ago, but now we found a new way to
Yeah.
cheat. Catch us if you can,
You
but
know,
we are here to do
you
it.
know
So
what my favorite thing about that ALCS was? All the Boston fans with their signs.
yeah,
Cheaters, you guys are cheaters. They forget that Alex Cora was the ringleader of that whole scandal when he was in Houston, and now he's the Boston
right,
Red Sox manager.
yeah,
Wasn't that the most ironic thing of
yeah,
the whole thing? Is that, oh, these guys are cheaters, these guys cheated. So did your manager, and he was
right.
actually the orchestrator of the entire thing. So
Yeah, it just like I don't know. I mean, like I do like the Braves. I mean, I've been following them like all postseason, and I'm liking what they're
yeah,
doing
they're
there. But
fun
for some reason, Houston kind of seems like that team like they're
of
on.
destiny.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
they're on a mission to kind of like the Giants and the Patriots, a what 2012 or whatever that game
right.
was. It's just like it just my gut's telling you that Houston is going to win it, and I do like your seven games. I mean, and like I love 7 game series, but I think it's only going to be a 5 game series, Combs. I think they're going to,
Wow.
yeah. I mean, I think they're going to flex on them. They are going to drop game 1, and then they're going to win the next 4.
I don't think it's possible to flex on the Braves. They are so good and so
They are.
poised. Freddie Freeman and he's probably one of the biggest reasons why I'm rooting for the Braves in this World Series. A guy who lost his mom at a young age to skin cancer, which is the reason why he always wears the long sleeves.
That's
A
awesome.
guy
I love that. Yeah.
who plays the game the right way. A guy who does things the right way and just has fun, man. The guy's always got a smile on his face.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like this Atlanta Braves team, you're going to need 7 games to beat them. You're not going to be able to just walk all over them and knock them out of a series. And we saw, if there was a team that was going to do that and walk all over them and knock them out of the series, it was a team with a pitching staff like the Los Angeles Dodgers. and that didn't do the Los Angeles Dodgers any good.
So, are you seeing like a pitching duel series, or are you seeing like a bunch of 7-8, 10-8 scores?
I see the games that the Atlanta Braves win. The 4 games that I have them winning are going to be the 4-3, 3-2 type games.
Okay.
The 3 games that they lose are going to be the 7-5s, the 9-6s, the high scoring affairs, and that's where Houston can get to them. But that Max Fried, that pitching staff that they have there in Atlanta, then the bullpen, man. Tyler Matzik is lights out. The way he came into that game 6 against the Dodgers in LA and just in Atlanta and just completely shut the door on them. I mean, he struck out the first 4 batters that he faced, and then the next 2 grounded out weakly to third base.
Right.
And he is so good. And that entire Braves bullpen, then you go to Will Smith, he's very good. That entire Braves bullpen is very good. That pitching staff is good. They are too good to lose a series in 5 games. And I feel the same way about the Astros. The Astros are too good to lose a series in 5 games. Not a 7-game series anyway.
So obviously the Braves are going to have to go into Houston and win at least one game to get the 4 wins that they need to win the series.
Yeah, well, Houston's got home field advantage.
Yeah. So is it going to be the first 2 or the last 2 that you see?
I think they'll split in Houston. And then I believe that the Braves will win 2 out of 3 in Atlanta and go back to Houston up 3-2. And then Houston will win game 6 to force game 7. And then I think Max Fried and the Atlanta Braves will win that game. It'll be a tight game, come down to the wire. But I believe the Atlanta Braves will win that game.
So I believe it was you told me it was some crazy stat where Houston, when they're playing the White Sox in the AL Division Series, right?
Yeah.
Where like they were batting like 167 on the road, and then like at home they're batting like almost 300 or 400.
It was on the road. They had over 400 more swing and misses than they had at home. It's a very much a different team when they are at home than when they are on the road. And that was kind of in response to the comments from the White Sox reliever whose name is escaping my mind, who pitched for the Cubs too. But the White Sox, not Kimbrel, but the other one, he had said that the Astros, they're a different team at home than they are on the road. Just look at the numbers. And that's what caused me to look at the numbers. And they are. The Braves are so good in Atlanta. So good.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're good on the road too, but their lineup is just so much fun to watch. Their pitching staff is fun. This entire team is really fun to watch. I'm really sad that it has to be the Astros in the World Series just because I don't like the Astros. Like I would have much rather seen the Red Sox or the Rays or the White Sox in this series because I think it'd just be a more fun series to watch. But, there are guys on the Astros who I am a big buyer of. Like I'm a buyer of Alex Bregman. I'm a buyer of Carlos Correa. I think Jose Altuve is a product of what they created there with the whole little video scandal because he hasn't been the same player since then. But I'm a buyer of guys like that, Yordan Alvarez. So I'm not completely down on the Astros. Do I like what they did with the whole scandal? No, I don't. But it was 4 years ago. And so, while I'm not rooting for the organization, I still do believe that they have some players that are just fun to watch.
So with everything that you just said, how are you picking the Astros to win 2 games in like Atlanta, and how are you picking the Braves?
They're not. I have the Braves taking 2 out of 3 in Atlanta.
Okay, but you just said like how good the Astros are at home too. How do you have the Braves taking 2 games from them? Like
because the Braves are that good. Because the Braves are that good, and then in a game 7, anything can happen. I just trust Max Fried to shut down a Houston lineup more than I trust any of the Astros starting pitchers to be able to shut down the Braves lineup. So you have the Astros. I think I lost Buck here as he froze. Yep. We lost Buck, so we'll see if we can get him back. But the Atlanta Braves are they're that team. I really like what the Braves can do. I like them on every aspect of the game. So I've got Braves in 6. One of the other things we were going to talk about was your MVP. Who's going to be your MVP? And Eddie Rosario is on fire. And he was the MVP of the NLCS. This time, I think that Freddie Freeman comes alive. I think Freddie Freeman is going to be your World Series MVP. That is my pick there. Freddie Freeman is I don't know how you don't root for this guy. This guy is he's always smiling. He loves this game, and he plays it the right way, and he does everything the right way. So for me, Freddie Freeman will be the World Series MVP. One of the things that I wanted to get to here was the umpires. And it is no secret that the umpires behind the plate have had an atrocious playoffs. I mean, they've just been bad, and they've been bad for a long time. It's not just these playoffs. They were bad during the season. They were bad last year. They were bad the year before that, and they were bad the year before that. And I've been a huge, huge supporter of automated strike zones. We absolutely 110% need to have automated strike zones in baseball. It is time. It is time. You, as a home plate umpire, when you are missing, let's even say, let's be nice and say it's 85% of the calls behind the plate. So you're missing 15% of those calls. That means 15% of your calls are altering the game. They're altering that bat. They're altering a hitter's approach. They're altering a pitcher's approach. If a count goes from, instead of being 2-1, instead it's 1-2, it changes the hitter's approach. It changes the pitcher's approach. What pitch is he going to throw? What are the runners doing? What is the hitter thinking? What are they trying to do? 2-1, you might try a bunt. 1-2, you're not trying a bunt. There are things that come into effect that you absolutely 110% alter the game with your calls behind the plate. And they're not even allowed to argue with you about it, because they argue with you about it, you're tossing them. And that's another problem. I just feel like it is time, and it has been time for a long time, for there to be automated strike zones in baseball. And I love this game with everything that I am. This game to me is the most beautiful game in the world. It is it's the one thing throughout my entire life that has never let me down, and that's the game of baseball. And which is funny coming from a Cubs fan, right? Because you would figure the letdowns would be astronomical. But more than just being a Cubs fan, I'm a fan of the game. And umpires are they're just killing me. It's not good for the game. It is not good for the playoffs. It is not good moving forward. It is absolutely 110% time that we have automated strike zones. We have the technology to do it. It won't slow down the game. If anything, it'll speed up the game, because you'll have accurate calls, because you won't have the hitters not knowing what pitch is going to be called the ball and what pitch is going to be called the strike. They're not going to be forced to swing at things that are outside of the zone. They're not going to be forced to do things outside of what the rules are. And that's what you do as a home plate umpire when you're making the wrong calls, whether it be a strike that's a ball or a ball that's a strike. you are altering the game. You are altering an approach. You are altering everything about the game as an umpire. And that is wrong. And that is something that the game absolutely 110% needs to step in and change. One of the other things I want to get to before we head out of here is the Los Angeles Dodgers. They lose to the Atlanta Braves, and they've got an interesting offseason coming up. They've got Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Corey Seager, Justin Turner. All of these guys are free agents. And Trey Turner, I believe, too, is a free agent. Maybe he's got a year left of control. I'm not sure. But they've got a lot of free agents that they need to deal with. And I would suggest, if I was the GM of the Dodgers, I would take a couple of those pieces and I would build around them. I would let Max Scherzer walk. I would let Clayton Kershaw walk. I would probably re-sign Corey Seager. And I would re-sign Trey Turner. And I would build around Betts, Seager, and Turner. And you could absolutely build around those guys. And those are guys that are going to be in this league for a long time. And they're going to be playing at a high level for a long time. So if I'm the Dodgers, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to see what I've got for pitching in the minors. I'm going to see what I can get in free agency. I'm going to see what I can do to rebuild this thing the way it needs to be rebuilt with homegrown talent. And they've got the pieces to do it. They've got the money to do it. They're the Dodgers. But that's just me. I would let Scherzer go. I would let Kershaw walk. I would let Turner walk. And I would build around those three pieces. Betts, Seager, and Turner. Not Justin Turner. Trey Turner. let me put that out there. I just realized I said two Turners. I would let Justin Turner walk. I would keep Trey Turner. Trey Turner is, God, that kid is so good. He's so much fun to watch. But at any rate, I've been rambling on long enough. We are going to call it a night here on the Man Hour. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you, Drew, for all the comments streaming in. As Drew says, adios, Dodgers. I will say adios, Drew. Thank you, Javier. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great one. Thank you for chiming in tonight. We've had Kyle in the chat. Thank you, Kyle. Liz has been out there listening. Thank you, Liz. You've been in the chat. Isaac Hatfield's been in the chat. Thank you, Isaac Hatfield. Everybody who joins us each and every single night. Thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Do whatever you can. Share the show. Promote the show. Just make sure you click that like button. Make sure you click the share. Let other people enjoy the things that you guys have been enjoying about the show. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a good night. Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour.